And welcome back to another episode. So excited once again to share this journey with all of our listeners and viewers. I just love having the opportunity to sit with and be educated by amazing, empowering women. And today's guest is absolutely no different. So we have with us today Andrea Merrill, and your company is Andrea Merrill. But you do amazing, empowering things for your clients. You teach them the art of storytelling. So, Andrea, first of all, thank you so much. I know it's early, you're out on the West Coast and you are joining us today, but I'm so excited to listen to what it is that you do. And then we want to share, of course, what you have coming up in the very near future that I know myself and some of my other colleagues will be part of. So, Andrea, welcome. Let's just jump in. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. You are so sweet. I am so excited to be here. So, who am I? I am Andrea Merrill. I love storytelling and I'm a psychology nerd, like, love psychology. I actually am a storytelling speaker, monetization strategist, and coach with over 20 years of experience. And I have my master's degree in psychology of ABA, which is applied behavioral analysis. So I really know behavior. I love psychology driven strategies, and I've helped my clients generate over $80 million in revenue. I have been on CNN, I have been on Sirius XM radio, and other amazing places. I'm also a mother of five. I have five beautiful children, and I'm actually really lucky to have them because I was told I could never have children. So it's really exciting.
First of all, let's just share this moment. I am a mother of five as well. You,
Stop it.
I know you don't ever hear that. And as much as we are virtual right now, we're not together in studio. You don't look that much larger than myself. So when people hear, oh my God, you have five kids, they're like, but you're so small. I don't know what being small has to do with being able to conceive and carry and deliver a child, but I hear that all the time. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. I literally heard that this week when I was getting my nails done. The woman was like, "There's no way you have five children." And then she began to say how young I looked. So she couldn't believe that my 13-year-old daughter was my daughter.
Listen, I understand. Take it as a high compliment. My oldest is going to be 29 and
Oh,
I'm 52. So
you
people
look
go all the
amazing.
time, that's your son? And then my son thinks it's funny because he'll try to tell people she doesn't want to talk about it. She had me at an inappropriate age. I'm like, can you stop telling people that? I was like, I was 23 years old. It wasn't that bad. Back in the day, that really wasn't that bad.
No, it was not. I got pregnant with my oldest at 19 and had him at 20, and he's 16 now. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And I'm almost 37. So, I mean, it's really not that bad. Come on.
Yeah, it's not. I explain it to people, and look, you come from your background, you'll understand. I
Yeah.
say, don't judge me based off of your fears. This is my normal.
Yes. Yes.
This is
Boom.
my
I love
normal. I
that.
don't want to conform to what is normal for you. This
Yeah.
is my normal.
Yeah.
Every time I do something and people want to have a reaction, I go, why have that reaction? This is my story. This is not your story. This is
Yes.
me, and you could either embrace it and support it, or you can, walk away and see ya at some other time. But it
That's
works.
right. That's
So
right.
anyway, so now that we got derailed, so love what you do with the storytelling, and your background is so appropriate. So I'm assuming your clients come from a diversity of different areas. Like, where do you find your clients?
Yeah, it's definitely diverse. I used to be a previous behavior and trauma therapist for high profile cases here in Arizona. It was absolutely incredible. I love doing it. Not only did I work with the victims, I then went and worked with the perpetrators inside of the prison. So to say I love behavior would probably be an understatement. Like, I want to understand everything. So you're absolutely right. My previous my previous job and what I have my degree in really does hold that foundation, right? It's that really solid foundation of understanding behavior. So where do I find my clients? I find them on Instagram, I find them on LinkedIn, I get referrals, like they're literally everywhere. And a lot of people ask me, well, who's your ideal client avatar, right? Like we typically have to have one. And I don't, because mine are so like different, right? They're so vast. I love that though. I have to say, I love that. I work with a real estate agent or I work with a doctor, right? Those are two different things, but I still can help with storytelling and making you a boatload of money. Like that is what at my core I want to do. So everybody has a story to tell, and I want them to tell their story. Rhonda, I'll tell you, since I was a little girl, I've always said I wanted to give people a voice that don't have one. So I thought I was doing that through being a behavior and trauma therapist. And I realized I was actually taking their voice away and becoming their voice. So speakers actually give the voice back to the audience and create that ripple effect when they leave and they tell others about it. So I'm finally doing what I've always said I wanted to do since I was a little girl.
I absolutely love that. And I think what the takeaway is, you have the experience. I feel like there are people who say they are in your space, but they lack the experience. How do you handle that? You're on Instagram. So I am magnetized by your story and your background. But if I'm on social media and I'm scrolling and I see a clip, or I see you on LinkedIn and I just see a little clip, I may not understand the diversity of your background and all of your skill sets that are appropriate in helping me. How do you respond to somebody? Because there are, unfortunately, imposters in your space that try to say they will do what you do. So how do you overcome that?
Yeah. So I'm going to be honest. I have not seen anybody do what I do. So I have it even harder because I don't get to look at somebody else's content and get ideas, right? That's typically what people do is they go to other people's areas, they go see what content they're doing. And then they're like, oh, now I can flip that and do it too, right? That's typically what happens. So I don't have anybody that's a storytelling monetization coach. Like, I don't see one out there. So I have literally paved the way. But I do have a few people in my sphere that's like, oh, she's doing that. I can do that too. And I'm like, but can you? But can you? So now that gets into your question. So I really like to showcase my skills through my content. So I story tell, girl, do I story tell in my stuff because I'm like, you're not going to do it better than I am because I understand behavior. I understand what makes people tick. Not only that is I understand my audience. And you have to understand your audience to really be able to stand out from the crowd. So while I'm gaining followers, the people that are saying, quote unquote, they do what I do, they're not gaining followers. They're not gaining people. They're not gaining DMs. So it's all about staying in your lane and really showcasing hard what you do and do it well.
I love that. You must be so proud. Your family must be so proud because, it's one of those skill sets that I think literally you could use in any scenario, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be just about helping the business client. It can also be about helping your child as they are going through, a life event of some sort. So there's so many different values that what you offer could be great for somebody who's in elementary school, middle school, high school, and beyond, not just in our business space. So again, just for everybody, once again, we are speaking with Andrea Merrill. Please, while we're having this moment, take a minute to go follow her on her Instagram page, which is what, the Andrea Merrill?
Yes, yes. I had a recent name change. I'm so excited.
You're like, I'm so excited. So, once again, Andrea Merrill, you have such amazing stories. And I know that your background in storytelling, trauma therapy has allowed you to evolve into the career that you have now. Tell me about some of the struggles that going from, hey, I have this employment opportunity paying me, weekly or monthly, whatever that looks like. And now you stepped into the space of being an empowering entrepreneur. What were some of those challenges, especially as a mom?
Ooh, get ready. Get ready. Buckle up because I call this my serendipitous opportunity, but many will say it was not. So I will tell you, I started getting severe migraines. I didn't know why, I didn't know where they came from. I was pregnant with my fifth child, my beautiful little Clementine. And I, s- oh no, I'm sorry. I started getting severe migraines. Then they were doing process of elimination and they took out my birth control. Then I got pregnant with my fifth child. It was like, whoa, what just happened? Um, Migraines got worse. So, come to find out, I got diagnosed with papilledemia pseudotumor cerebri. So, I have a benign tumor on my brain that pushes on my eyes. And when you're pregnant, it gets worse and you could possibly go blind. Well, I almost did.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
Yes. Not only that, uh, I almost died pregnant with her at 20 weeks pregnant. My appendix ruptured pregnant with her. I was very grateful for this beautiful nurse because the doctor was going to send me home. And I was on a morphine drip. I was really, really sick. And she came in, she's like, really go get checked. It might be her appendix. And my husband was like, okay, let's do it. Well, by the time I got out, I got airlifted out. So the appendix ruptured. I got surgery, emergency surgery. Then comes the fun part. 3 months of torture. Torture. I had a drain placed because it did rupture. They weren't able to get everything out. So I had to have a drain placed almost immediately afterwards because I was so sick from it. I then caught MRSA. I went into preterm labor and I was airlifted out multiple times, pregnant with her. Then finally, I got home 7 days, guys, and my water broke. And I was like, girl, like, I spent 3 months in the hospital. It was rough. So we're back to the hospital again. I have her. And a few weeks later, we were in foreclosure. I found out that we were in foreclosure. Not only that, our HOA was auctioning off our home and our water got turned off. And I thought that I had hit rock freaking bottom.
I'm like,
Like,
you see, anybody watching this video, my face right now is like,
yeah,
oh my God. Like, I want to just give you a
yeah,
hug right now.
yeah, it was rough. Water got turned off. The water was only in my name. So we had this piece of crap red van that did not have AC and it was 120 plus degrees out in the summer. And I could, I could not bring my baby with me because we didn't have air in the car. And I was having severe PTSD from everything that I had went through. So jump in the car, cried all the way to the water company, had no idea how I was going to turn it back on because we had no money. Got it turned back on. I have no idea how because like that part of my brain went bonkers. So on the way home though, your girl put on a podcast and I remembered what a badass I am. So I had helped my friend when I was in the hospital generate $1 million in revenue in her business by helping her do her brand, her website, SEO, anything that I could do, I was doing for her. And I was so bored out of my mind. And I was like, a light bulb moment happened of if I could help her, there's got to be other people that I can help. So all I had was my iPhone 8. I built my website on my iPhone 8. I built my brand on my iPhone 8. So not one person on here can say you don't have the tools because we all have a phone in our hand. And the first 7 days in business, I landed $12,500.
Oh my God.
And we got out of foreclosure. We got out of the HOA auction, and I've been doing it ever since. Um, but I started my business as a brand website designer, SEO strategist, and around a year or so ago, I burnt that business to the ground and I rebuilt it up doing the storytelling speaker monetization coach business because I realized through the strategies that I help my clients with, that's what crafted the $80 million in revenue. And that is where I shine the most and where I was so happy and here to be like, oh my God, this is what I'm doing. And that's what I'm doing now. So I've been through such an evolution, and I used to be virtually adventurous. And then I realized as a speaker and telling other business owners, you should be known by your name. I did my name change, which was a whole nother avenue and triumphant to go through.
I love, first of all, still processing the information that you just dropped because I want to remind everybody one of the things that entrepreneurs we all experience is our own trauma and failure. At the end of the day, when I'm speaking to business owners, every single person, there was no, here's $1 million, go build a business. Here's a great idea, let me fund it. I speak to, high profile clients with multi-million dollar businesses and beyond every day. And they all have challenges. That's what makes us, unique.
Yeah.
I tell people, sometimes, when people hear a little bit about my story, and I'm sure when people hear your story, the words that come out for me, I go, I'm a unicorn. You're not supposed to meet somebody else that took my path. That belongs to me. But listening to what they've gone through, very similar. Clearly, I am not a storytelling, strategist teaching people how to make money. I problem solve, but in different ways. But what happens is that we all have our story. And I feel that if you didn't go through all of those trauma points, and you do use it that way, you would maybe still be lovely, but you might be a little boring. Does that make sense? People are attracted to elements of surprise. Like right now, again, I look at you, maybe a little differently because I now feel, I can now sense how much stronger you are. I could now say she's fearless. She was a risk taker. There are words that we use in business to help identify ourselves and others that, again, there are plenty of imposters out there. They haven't walked in your shoes. So when you are toe to toe on stage or you're toe to toe fighting for a deal and somebody wants to know, are you the right fit? Do you create the right opportunity? You're able to turn around and say, are you serious right now? Yeah, right? Does that make sense? Right? So, so I love that you own, you know what I'm saying, that story. again, just for everybody that is listening right now, we are speaking with Andrea Merrill. Again, if you are in the car, please be careful. If you are watching us live, just take a minute to go look her up on her social media. I know Instagram for you, you have a lot of great content and little mini clips that people can, get those little juicy nuggets, right? Those little juicy
Yeah.
nuggets in between. But I want to make sure that people leave feeling inspired, and I know I am. So we're not done. So once again, we are speaking with Andrea Merrill, and let's jump in to what's going on, next week, right? So
Yeah.
next week you have a live but virtual event. Let's talk about that a little bit. So, number one, tell us about the event and what inspired you to put it together.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's called Simplify and Scale. And okay, this is also just who I am. And you're right. I am a risk taker now that you're saying it, because I'm literally like, I called my best friend 2 weeks ago and was like, why don't we put on a summit? And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, why not? Everybody else is doing it. Why don't we do it? Let's do it. Now, we have been wanting to do a summit for quite some time, and I will be honest, and this is some really juicy info, is we're often told by many people in our world, and this is why we have to be careful who's in our world. I was told many times not to do a summit. I was told many times not to do a summit with this particular person. And I was sick and tired of being told what to do. And I stood up and I'm like, I am a business owner. And what do business owners do? They make bold decisions based off of their gut, based off of what they believe is worth it, valuable, right?
Yes.
And all I thought was, why not me? Why not me? Because I have been dimmed. Rhonda, I'm going to be so honest. I have been dimmed for years. I had a friend in my life that has dimmed my light and dimmed my confidence and made me feel less than. And girl, I am here to shine because I believe that what I have to offer really matters. So I had this friend. I was just on Sirius XM radio. I was talking to her and she goes, "Andrea, why don't you throw a summit?" And I was like, "Me?" And she's like, "Yes, you. Like, why not? You literally can do this." And I was like, "You're right, I can." So that's where I called my best friend. I was like, "Why don't we throw on this summit?" And she's like, "Yeah, let's just do it." So we put on this summit. It's called Simplify to Scale. And we were actually very strategic on who we wanted to support. We really wanted to help people break through the glass ceilings of their business. We often get inundated with all the voices, all the things, all the bells and whistles, this course, this coach, that coach, and we get overwhelmed. And I wanted to simplify it, and I wanted to bring on amazing speakers like yourself who have done it, but who have also saw the struggle. And you realize that growing can be simple. It can be fun, and it can be just like this. Like, we're
Yeah.
excited to scale and we're like, how do we do this? So I wanted to get away from the hustle. I wanted to people say, and can I say a cuss word on here?
Yeah. They'll bleep it out. It's okay.
Okay, bleep it. I wanted to say, people say, next year is my year. But I want people to say 2025 is my year. It is my year. It is literally the year of, for me, I found my word for the year is be seen.
Yeah.
And there is nothing more than being seen, especially somebody that's lost. I've lost 150 pounds and I'm so proud of
Stop
myself.
it. I can't even with you right now. Baby steps, girlfriend, baby steps. That's like a whole other episode.
It really is. Like I have stories coming like not like left and right. And one of them was I mean, it was 100 over 150 pounds overweight and I couldn't do it anymore. And I've been so afraid to be seen, and I'm not anymore. I'm like, I have a voice that I want people to hear, and I need more speakers and more business owners to know what is possible for them through the stories that they can tell to close and land like money deals. So this summit is all about doing that. It's all about saying, okay, I'm stuck. I have the hustle, but I can't do this anymore. And I am ready for like tangible, real tangible strategies and a clear path from people that have done it. So, Simplify to Scale is that virtual summit that is designed for entrepreneur, coaches, speakers, business owners who are ready to scale their business to 6, 7 figures and beyond without that overwhelm, because we're sick of the overwhelm. Let's be honest. We
Yeah.
want to go to 2025 and be like, we're bold, we're brave, we're stepping out, we're doing what we need to do to scale from proven experts, experts that are really good at what they do.
Yeah.
So we're going over mindset, time leveraging, profit increase, systems, time leverage, create scalable systems that are going to allow you to do this. And we're going to do this over a 2-day virtual summit over Zoom. And of course, you have a VIP opportunity to be able to network, be able to talk with the speakers. And of course, I'm doing it differently because I'm a storytelling coach, and that's what we like to do. We like to do things different, and I like to do things that are going to support the people that are there. I'm not just thinking about myself, I'm thinking about how is the audience going to leave.
And, just a couple of little takeaways that, first of all, number one, what I think I love most, and not just for our listening, but also for people that are watching, is the fire in your belly. You found your purpose, right? So
I
what
found
happens
it.
is there are so many people that I've met with over the years, but they've lost the fire in their belly. They have gotten to the point where it is mundane and now it is a struggle because
Yep.
they can't get out of their own way. So when we're talking about a lot of entrepreneurs, they've had their systems, they've had things in place, but the mindset is what they need. They need to be reminded that it's okay to create change. Some people
Yes.
are so afraid of change because they got so comfortable where they are. So, and what happens is, I guess it was about a week or two ago, I just had this conversation with somebody after seeing a quote on somebody's social media. And it was the premise behind it was that as we grow in our business and as we scale in our business and become more successful, sometimes it's lonely.
Yeah.
And you have to learn that it's okay to sit by yourself and process. And if you speak to a lot of your clients, like I do with my clients that are high performing, the ones that are in this like rat race that are just constantly derailed because they can't process their thoughts, they're smart. They have fire in the belly, but they're just not able to put together a system, right? So it
Right.
makes it very challenging. I think, from the things that I'm listening with this conversation, the summit will really help address a handful of these questions, for people that are preparing themselves to kind of zoom in. I know I'm excited to share. And I think when you get other like-minded people that are interested, it's going to be fantastic. So let's start with how do people find the summit? And then I want to jump into our final section of the show. So where do people get information about the summit?
Awesome. So you can go to simplifytoscale.info. And that is it. That's where you can get all the information and be able to sign up and be a part of the amazing summit. And I really love what you said, Rhonda, just to touch on it. Like, I built $250,000 business and burned that to the ground because I didn't have the fire in my belly.
Mm-hmm.
I had all the systems, I had all the things, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I had to come to terms with that myself and be like, I don't love this. But what I can do is I can find pieces that I love and rebuild. Because instead of being like, I'm not an entrepreneur, it's I am an entrepreneur. I made this money. I can do it again, but do it in a way of purpose, love, and excitement.
And I love that.
Myself and be like, I don't love this. But what I can do is I can find pieces that I love and rebuild. Because instead of being like, I'm not an entrepreneur, it's I am an entrepreneur. I made this money. I can do it again, but do it in a way of purpose, love, and excitement.
And I love that. Again, for everybody listening, just a reminder, we are speaking with Andrea Merrill. And we're talking about your summit. Andrea, love the summit. I love the fire in your belly as we're talking. I think that there are so many business owners that really could take value from your lessons that you teach. And because there's so much diversity, you don't have a specific avatar, as you mentioned, that's a client. You could work from the construction company who's a startup to the doctor who has been asked to do a keynote speech. So there's so much diversity in your business. How do you take your skills and what is that starting point? So I'm a client, I meet you, I follow you. What does that first engagement look like if I want to onboard as a client?
Yeah, so typically it is a fit call. So we do a 15-minute fit call. I get to know you. I'm like, who are you? Tell me more about you. I want to know your business and how I can best support you. Because honestly, it depends on what they need support in. I work with speakers, but also, guys, I believe you're a speaker the moment that you start working with a client, because you are speaking to your client and you have to know how to storytell. You have to know how to land that deal. So if you are a speaker, as in you are working with business owners and you are working with your clients, you're a speaker, because you're going to naturally evolve into wanting to be on podcasts. You're going to be asked to speak on podcasts. You're going to be asked to be in summits. You're going to be asked to speak on a stage. So it's really about really honing in on that. So I want to get on a call with you. I want to know what you're up to, what you're about. Recently, I had a call with a lady that's going to be in 18 stages this year. So that goes from one-to-one clients to webinars to speaking on stage. So we are now moving into you are the perfect fit. Now, what coaching package is perfect for you? Are you beginner level? Are we needing to go all in? Are you needing me in your back pocket? Or are you wanting to just figure out your story, put it together, and know how to present it? So I really tailor my packages based off of your needs. Now, with her, she needs me for 6 months. Perfect. I am now in your back pocket. And when I say back pocket, I literally mean you have either Voxer access to me or text access to me. So if you are in those moments of, oh my God, Andrea, I don't know what to do, you can literally voice me and I voice you back. I am pretty good at being on top of those things, even with 5 kids, guys. Yes, it is possible because I don't know any other way.
I
We
love you
just do
right
it.
now. Those are my words. People say to me, I can't believe you find the time. I go, listen, I have 5 boys and a man child for a husband. So it doesn't get any more intense. But what I will say, and hopefully it's the same for you, the support that I get at home allows me to grow.
Yes. My kids are so proud that we were playing a game. And this is total side note. We were playing a game, and one of the questions to ask me, because you have to answer three questions in like 5 seconds. It's like this timer thing. I got it because I want my kids to learn how to quick think. So she had asked me, what is your dream job? What would you be doing? And I go, my business, my business, my business. Boom, I win. And she goes, you can't say that. And my son goes, yes, she can, because she's doing what she's always wanted to do. And I was like such a proud mama at that point. I was like, yes, yes. Like my kids get it and they're with me. And that is what makes it possible, guys, when they're just as excited. So when I close a client, we celebrate. It's been happening for 6 years. We celebrate, we're excited. They cheer me on and they're like, wow, mom, I want to be like you when I grow up. And they're literally doing that at school. Like my oldest son is an entrepreneur. He sells snacks at school to make side money. Like, I'm like, yes, like I am so for this.
I'm laughing because my kids are a few years, ahead of yours, but
Yeah.
very similarly, my kids are all they have entrepreneur skills and skill sets. And I've encouraged them to not sit. I've encouraged them to go out and experience. And, I say to them all the time, while I'm your mother, I will always support anything you want to do, even if it doesn't seem right. If you have passion in that moment and there is purpose in that moment,
Yeah.
everything becomes a learning opportunity. And it goes back to where we started. So
Yeah.
when you have these learning opportunities, you may need that. Like my oldest right now, who normally has anxiety for traveling, he's 29 years, he's going to be 29 this morning. We're in New York. It is torrential downpour. He drove himself at 4:30 this morning to the airport to jump on a plane by himself, which he's never
Woo.
done, to go to a job interview in Myrtle Beach by himself. So all of these first driving to the
Yeah.
airport, first traveling alone, first renting a car, first renting, you know what I'm saying? So all of these
Yeah.
things that are happening, and these are his life lessons. And for me, I could have said, let me go, let me mother you. But
Yeah.
everybody needs to explore. And he left a job that he loved because he wants to pursue something that he feels is more in alignment,
I love
right,
that.
with his long-term goals. So it's okay, and I think you and I can agree that it's okay to have short-term goals as
Yes.
long as you have a larger, full-time picture and
Yeah.
figure out strategically where do they play in the overall, in that overall story, right? And I think that is,
Yeah.
that's really important. So just for the sake of time, I just want to rehash. Everybody, please follow Andrea Merrill on social media. That's number one. Number two, we have this summit. I know I'm blessed and honored. I'll be speaking. I know you have amazing, other speakers lined up. You and I were connected. I just want to, do a little shout out. You and I were connected through Dennis Postema, who
Yeah.
is fantastic. Dennis has been a guest on our show numerous times. you guys should follow Dennis as well if you're not.
Yes.
Between his magazines, his podcasts, Dennis recently is the production behind my first book that I released.
Woo!
I'm on, I'm on his network. You as well are on Motivation Success TV. What content do we find on Motivation Success TV for you?
Yeah, so you are going to find, I mean, I shared my entire story on there and I shared a lot of tips around how you can storytell and scale. And I love Dennis so much. We guys, watch out for him because 2025 is going to be freaking powerful because we're actually working on his keynote right now and it is going to be so good.
I think what happens, and it's safe to say, and then we'll end on this note, you could meet perfectly amazing people that have all these stories. And again, the more you peel back the onion, right, and you pull these layers off, the more you're like, wow, you can build, I think the word respect, the more
Yeah.
you understand all of the, um, the tragedy to get to the point of triumph. When
Yeah.
you meet somebody, I think a big part of their character is understanding where they came from, and again, making sure that they align with the same values that you align yourself with along the way. So,
Yes.
Andrea, I first of all, thank you so much. I know it's early in Arizona. Thank you so much for getting up early to join us today. That's number one. I'm so excited to be part of your summit. And I am there to cheer you and everybody else on. And then lastly, just as a reminder to everybody, please go visit Andrea Merrill's social media. I wouldn't be pushing it if she didn't have nuggets to share. We bring on a lot of different guests, but because of the diversity in what you do, you are just a blessing to all of the people that are listening and watching today's episode. So with that, mwah, I love, love, love your story today. I appreciate you sharing your time. And for everybody else, stay tuned. We're getting ready to bring you information on next week's show.